Hey, welcome to the tech capital of the world. It's a rainy day here in Kernersville, North Carolina, but it's a fantastic day, Kevin, because learning to code can pay off. That's what I think.
I
That's my thing today.
agree.
So I'm
We've definitely
really,
seen it recently. So
yeah. So one of my hopes is to build the next Wordle. I may never get there, but I'm gonna try.
worth a
You
shot,
know,
right?
yeah, it's worth a shot.
Worth a
Maybe the New York Times will come calling.
shot.
Um,
I
so
don't know if our
I find it
comments are
funny.
working
People are
today.
breaking apart his app now. They're like
Oh,
they
really?
published the array on Twitter yesterday with all the words in it and
Oh, I
what
did
day they'll
see
come
that.
out. Yeah,
I saw an
it's
article
like
about
dang.
like play Wordle for free forever. Like put it on your
Yeah,
desktop. It's like you can basically
yeah,
save the whole thing. Apparently
yeah,
the matrix of the words and everything is all in there.
yeah.
Like, oh, okay, interesting. So yeah. We're
So
here early today,
anyway,
so
yeah,
we're
a little
early
bit
bird
early.
catching the worm. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure our comments are working. I don't see them.
I see some chats in here. I'm
So
looking.
no, I see the chat. I just don't see it on vMix for some strange.
Okay, it's because we're early.
And I don't know why. Maybe being early is bad. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We'll see. See if it starts working. Yeah, it's not working.
Okay. Well, what do we do?
That could be a problem. Well, it just means I can't put the chat on the screen. That's all.
Okay.
I can still go through YouTube chat, figure them out, just can't put them on the screen. And I don't know. Let me just try. While we're doing that, talk about.
While you're working on that, I'll talk about my burning thing today. Like the thing
Yeah,
that
go.
just sometimes that makes me uh, get up in the morning, the things that motivate me, but it's also it just like bad information sometimes you get from people. So we had a comment on the YouTube channel, and I'm really not like I don't get triggered by the comments a lot. A lot of people think I might, but I don't. I mean, I really don't. So like more worried about someone just giving us like super bad information that just doesn't count. And so,
Yeah, it's
as you
bad.
know, here at YouTube, or here at YouTube, no, the Coder Foundry, we haven't been bought by YouTube yet. Still waiting for that $100 million paycheck. Um, we believe that you should put your best foot forward in order to get a job. And so, like when you
Right.
look at Coder Foundry and you look at the amount of work we put through the cohort in 12 weeks, one of those key things is building a portfolio. And so we've made multiple videos about, hey, you need a portfolio. And then we routinely get comments back where someone says, I don't need a portfolio. I've been working for 20 years. I've never had one. Like you don't need one. There's,
Yeah. Yeah.
Code Foundry's full of crap.
And that was literally the
Like we're
comment. It was
just,
basically like,
yeah,
yeah, that's literally
exactly.
the comment. It was like cursing at us and then saying like, I've had a job forever and I've never had a portfolio. And
Right.
it's like my answer to that when I read it, and I tell you, I did actually delete the comment because I don't want
Right.
somebody
Yeah.
coming there and being like, oh, well, this guy didn't need one. So it's like,
Yes.
because my answer to that is you also, the analogy is like, you don't need a car to get across the country. You
No,
don't. You
can't
can
walk.
do it. Spend 6 months, walk. You can totally
Yeah.
do that. But trust me, having a car is going to be way easier.
Yeah. So we're building one of the things that we're building right now that I'm putting together actually this week. Hopefully it'll be out in several weeks, not next Monday. It's not going up Monday, but is taking our portfolio parts that we teach in the course and branching that out into a really full featured how to build a portfolio, but also how do I templarize that for portfolio so I can like take control of the colors and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really heavy CSS, heavy Bootstrap. Even we go into graphic design, like where, like how do I make the images look good? What, using an image editor.
Well, because we
what do
see that so
professionals do?
often. We see it
Yeah,
so often where somebody throws an image up there and they use CSS and break the ratio of the image. They fit a landscape image into a square and it squishes it in, and CSS will totally let you do that, but it looks like crap.
Or they'll put like cover on it, and it's like a picture of you. And then when you put it down on your portfolio, it's like just
It's
the
like-
bottom of your
exactly.
nose. It's like
yeah,
here,
you see like
it's
this little space over here, it's like cut off
just
like
like
this.
like
or
that.
where-
Just
yes, we
it's
see
like
a lot of that. Yeah,
so.
we see a lot of that.
Yeah, we see a lot of that. So we're going through that course, but part of that course is the practical side of this, which is like, why do you even do this. So basically what the content guy was saying, or the guy that left the comment was saying, was instinctively, that's too much effort. You don't have to put that kind of effort in.
Yes.
Let's do the minimal effort as possible. And here's the minimal effort. Just put your resume together and you'll get a job just like me. Well, what you don't know about that person is, A, does he actually have a coding job? Because a lot of times we get comments from people that aren't coders. Yep. And so like, they don't want to do this effort. So therefore they tell you don't need to do it because I'm X, when they're really not X. They're not a developer. They're not really working in the industry. Yep. But let's say, for example, this guy is working in the industry. Let's say he is. Let's say he's a 20-year vet and he's carved out a really nice career and he trades on his resume. Okay. That is perfectly valid. When you look at today, I'm trying to hire .NET people, I'm primarily looking at resumes. You know why? They don't have portfolios. That's the only thing that I can look at.
Yep.
So to get a job, I think you need to do 3 things, okay? Let's say that you learned to code. All right, let's just throw that out there. You got to have skills to get in the industry, but how do I break in? You absolutely 100%, the thing you must do 100% is have a LinkedIn profile. We've talked to recruiters. They use it probably 98% of the time to find people. And if you're not on LinkedIn, you won't get hired because they can't find you.
Exactly like I said on Tuesday. I literally spoke to a recruiter last Friday who told me exactly this. They only source from LinkedIn. That's it. And we've spoke to other recruiters. This was a UK recruiter. We spoke to other UK recruiters. We spoke to US recruiters that we know. This is literally how they do it. They pay tens of thousands of dollars to have a recruiter seat in LinkedIn. Trust me, they're using it.
Right. They're using it every day. Now this goes into, you're getting the first part of, we're calling the course Above the Fold. I'm giving you the things I'm recording and like why you should do this. I'm gonna give it to you for free right now. So the second thing that happens is then they look at the profile and they try to determine if that person can do the job that I'm looking for. Typically this happens in 5 seconds. All right. So the next thing you can do is you got to make sure you have the correct keywords in your top level description. Like, what do I do? Instead of saying web developer, it needs to say web developer, ASP.NET, MVC, C#, JavaScript, HTML5, so that they can go look at it and go, okay, that's the things I'm looking for.
That actually reminds me of a good tip that the recruiter mentioned on Friday, was that when they're looking through stuff like that, they actually look for keyword density as well, by the way. So if she was looking for a JavaScript developer, she mentioned that the way that their program sorts those resumes out is she would look for the ones that had the word JavaScript most on the resume, and she'd look at that first. She also said they will spend way less than a minute average looking at them, period. Even for the ones they choose, they spend less than a minute on each one looking at them. We're talking seconds.
Right. Okay. So think about that. So one of the things we also subscribe to on the resumes and inside of LinkedIn, if you list your job that you did, like say you worked at Bank of America and then you worked at Wells Fargo and you did whatever, in each one of those job descriptions on the resume and on your LinkedIn, you should have the tech stack I use. I know it seems redundant. All I've done is .NET for 20 years. This is the same tech stack over and over and again. Why? Because that's what they want to know. Like, how long have you been using it? Did you use it a lot, or did you use it 10 years ago and you're not using it now? If it's 10 years ago, I don't need you. So like, that is, this density of keywords is very important, and having a LinkedIn profile. Now, I still haven't mentioned the portfolio yet, Kevin. Like, so you're saying all I need is a LinkedIn profile. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. The LinkedIn profile is getting you selected into a smaller stack, and then they're going to go through that stack to try to figure out who they're going to present. All right. So the next thing you have is your resume, where your LinkedIn profile and your resume are essentially the same document. LinkedIn is a resume, but you need to have a printed resume that I may ask you for one, because like most employers require it.
And you're making a good point. Without those two things, you wouldn't even get past the first phase. So you could have the rockstar portfolio, but if you don't have a LinkedIn or a resume, you're not even going to get selected for them to look at your portfolio.
Yeah, you're not going to get looked at. Now, it comes down to, they've went through their search. They found 100 candidates coming back from the LinkedIn recruiter seat, because we have it too. We do the same thing. And then you're going through there and you're trying to figure out which ones of these do I select. You pick the ones you select, and then you have your 5 or 6 or 10 finalists. Well, as a recruiter, you're not presenting 10 people. I mean, like the guy will never make a decision. You won't get something
as
sold.
a recruiter, that's like, I don't really know what you want, therefore I'm just going to give you a lot. And that's not what a recruiter wants to do. A recruiter wants to show up with like
3.
Exactly. And trust me, they have an idea which one they know they want, right? They're going to have their rock star, and they're going to put a couple of other people in there too. They know which one you want because they understand the job well enough. They're like, it's this person right here, but here's 2 others as well.
Right. So how do you get to the 3 finalists so you can at least get a chance to interview with the real client? So like, that's where the portfolio comes in. So all the LinkedIn profile does is get you past the initial selection phase. Like, hey, here I am. I'm waving my hand. I'm a coder. Please select me. And then they're looking at people they can pitch to the client that they have a reasonable expectation that they'll hire them so they can get paid a fee.
Right.
And there's 3 guys sitting there, and one of them has a portfolio. One of them. Who do you think is going to win? The resumes are the same. Saying that all things equal, the portfolio guy is going to get that selection every single time. Now, here's the thing that that people also misunderstand about recruiters is they're typically not technical. Typically. Now, there's some recruiters out there that are highly technical because they used to code and they've switched jobs. But for the most part, they're salespeople. They've built a relationship with the client. They don't understand the difference between React and Angular and ASP.NET. They couldn't tell you the difference. They just know the keywords they're looking for. So first off, us as technologists, for some reason that bothers us. Like we get highly upset when they don't understand. Like, how can you not know what MVC is? It's because they're not a coder. I mean, so like they're just not. So get over it. Their job is to sell you into the company. That's what they're good at. So understand their role and your role. And if you can, and since they're not technical, handing them your GitHub doesn't move the needle with them at all. It doesn't even matter if you're like, hey man, it's awesome. And you can tell them all day long, they don't understand it. So you may not get to the selection process because guess what? A Coder Foundry grad or someone who goes to our self bootcamp walks in with his portfolio, boom, lays it on the desk, and it's a website, and all they do is click on stuff, and then they can click and run the app, and like it's like, oh, I could sell that. And I've heard a recruiter say exactly that when they said, we don't believe in bootcamp grads. And I said, well, look at this portfolio and tell me what you think. And I'm like, ooh, I can sell that. Bam. So they're thinking that I have to sell it on the resume with no experience and just bootcamp.
Which agreed is a hard sell, right? Because you have no
proof. Man.
We have no proof
of work. Yeah. So we're inventing the term POW, which is not stand for prisoner of war. It stands for proof of work. You need to have a POW that says, hey, I can do this. Let me show you what I can do. And that's what a portfolio is. Now, back to the guy's original comment was the guy is talking to you from a position of on top of the mountaintop. He has built a 20-year career. Okay. He's not starting out today. I promise you, if he's starting out today, he's going to be looking at building a portfolio because it's really hard to compete when you don't have any proof of work on your resume whatsoever. So
I mean, it's like your own word just saying, trust me, I can do it.
I can do it. Are you working? You got any side projects? Yeah, I'm working on some stuff. What's it do? Well, it does this. Can I look at it?
Show it?
Nah, it's on my laptop. So like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So no one knows if you can do it. Therefore, they don't hire you. And so when you can show them working code and show them something working and something brilliant, bam, it increases your chances probably 10 or 100-fold of you getting hired. Now, are you going to win every job you interview for? No. Is everyone who builds a portfolio getting a dev job? No. Some people they just can't win an interview for whatever reason. All right. So, but it increases your chance. And so what we want you to think about here, if you're listening to us, is put in the maximum amount of effort instead of the least amount of effort. Like, in other words, like, don't say what's the easiest way to learn to code and what's the least amount of effort I can put into it. Can I do this on a Tuesday afternoon and have a job on Wednesday? No, the answer is no, you can't do that. You have to put in some effort. This is a process. It's a journey. This is a commitment that you're putting time into you.
Yeah, it's a commitment in yourself, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you want to put work in?
Like if you build a portfolio, this comment almost like if I'm asking you to build a portfolio, that somehow I'm tricking the person to do work for me. I'm not. This is for you. This has nothing to do with Coder Foundry or Bobby or Kevin or like anybody. This doesn't help us if you build a portfolio. What we're telling you is if you build a portfolio and invest in you have a better chance of winning a role. And even at the senior level, if you have a portfolio that shows senior level stuff, you're going to get the nod over the one that just has the resume. It's simple human interaction. They'll look at it and like proof of work. I like what you've got there.
This is some advice you can actually give to Jorge right here. So I fixed the chat, by the way. So Jorge says it's resume only, but he has seen a shift. Been in the same job for 10 years, and I'm underpaid. LinkedIn has taken over as well. Recruiters reach out. Yeah, you should totally look at moving. If you're underpaid in the same job for 10 years, the market right now is so hot. You must know this because if you have a LinkedIn, recruiters must be reaching out to you.
Yeah.
So take advantage of it.
And recruiters taking over LinkedIn is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. In fact, I was reading an article the other day that was forwarded to me by someone that we know really well. Sheen Warren put it out on Twitter, someone we know really well. And it was talking about this company that has started an agency that operates like a sports agency. Okay.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
It's just for high-end developers. So that's what we've been saying for 5 years, that recruiters are like having a sports agent because that's really the only way it gets hired. Yeah. And these agencies work primarily with the high-end clients, i.e. the NBA, the NFL, like now that's the FANG companies. And then the FANG companies go to this agency because they have the high-end people.
Exactly.
Bam, we match them together. You get paid more because they're going to negotiate harder for you. And so just saying, it is a great time to be a coder. That's why I opened it up with it. It is crazy what these 5-year .NET people are in demand for now. It is gone, the pay scale things is gone crazy. It's out of whack. I mean, but is it a bubble?
We were just talking about this the other day.
It's always going to be this way.
Yeah, we were just talking about this the other day, though, how much it has increased, right? We're talking about people who are seniors now demanding not just 6 figures, but multiple 6 figures. By the way, the example that they had in that recruiting article was a $900,000 job. It was a senior, CTO person, but still, it's that's what we're talking about with these guys.
We're getting close to NFL money. When you're making $900K, you're like an offensive lineman for the Buccaneers. You may be a backup, but you're in the league and you're making $700,000 or $900,000.
Which makes it worth having an advocate for you at that point. That's why they have advocates. Because the agent also makes money, right? They're not in it for free. They're in it to maximize your potential, and it's so on the high end, I think we can see that coming. Whether that trickles all the way down, I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe there is a model where that trickles down even further.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying that, it's not unheard of now to make $200K as a .NET developer if you're 5 years in North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean we've literally seen these. We've seen this.
Yeah,
it's
firsthand. We've seen Carolina, so.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about what our internal pay rates are, but they're getting up there on some of the guys that are out there every day coding every day. So it's
that's the
crazy.
Market. That's how it is.
It's just the way it is, so it's kind of hard for the employer, but it's good for the employee. And so that's why I'm saying it's a good time to learn how to code. And so if you want to compete at that high end level, I'm telling you right now, if you had a portfolio, it helps you. You go in there asking for $900K, you need to be able to back that up in some way. Now, some people are really good interviewers and really good talkers, is what I would say. They have exceptional soft skills at the senior dev level. And they just always win interviews because they can always talk about what they've done. Some people just aren't gifted in that way. So if you could just show them something and then talk about what you can show, it helps you overcome that weakness and you make more money, you win more jobs, you win more. So just think about it. Don't listen to the people that want to put in the minimum amount of effort, because I promise you, this is changing. And just like graphic designers have to have a portfolio, so do you. And there's nothing wrong with building a website. I mean, how hard is it? If you're senior level, how hard is it to build a website? You could download a template on Saturday morning and have it pushed out Saturday afternoon. I mean, we're talking a five hour effort. Now, if you're just learning, it's going to take you a couple weeks.
But you hit on something.
You don't know how to do it.
Maybe that's a thing too, though. As a senior, Maybe a senior is also hesitant to use a template because they think like, oh man, I need to code this entire thing because I'm a senior. I don't think that's true either. I think you can totally leverage a template at any level, whether you're a beginner, senior, doesn't matter. Don't feel like you've got to like reinvent the wheel and create this like masterpiece of a portfolio. I mean, seriously, you could like put Wix together if you had to. I mean, you don't have to use. Yes, something, man. Like put something together with some links on it. Make sure it's pro. Make sure it looks good. But link to those published projects that you've built. And if you don't have those, you need to start working on those. And I know, hey, I work 40 hours a week already. I don't have time to do that. I get it. Which
if
is
you're
actually
a 20-year veteran, you may not.
Why you're saying that? That's actually what Jorge says. Well, working a full-time struggle, 3 kids, church, full-time job. And he said also to follow up with that, he's hesitant to look for a better job without creating a portfolio. And yes, but you may also be able to. You may be able to trade on it. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
With 10 years experience doing it, you should be able to.
Right.
Make sure that your LinkedIn profile's like super up to date. And if you're not getting inbound from recruiters, something's weird there. Because with that amount of experience, you should.
It's the keywords. You just need the keywords. Like that's the secret. Like I'm going to put this together. The one thing you need to put on your LinkedIn profile is keywords. Like it just, that's what they're looking for. And that's what the search is doing, is bringing back portfolios with those keyword searches. And they're typing in .NET developer or React developer. And if you don't have that on your portfolio, it's not going to come up in the search. So, that's the one thing that you can do to maximize your search availability, search visibility. So then you got to maximize your ability to get to the interview, and then you got to maximize your ability to win interviews. I think getting to the interview is where the portfolio comes into play. It's a lot easier for them to pitch you if you give them something to show, So.
Yep. I'm queuing up a bunch of your questions. Throw them in chat. We'll get to them. I'm going to jump to this one though, with the preface of this, by the way. With the preface of this is Danny's making a video, want to get a soundbite to include. So and this was the question. It was, what do you think the game plan should be for a complete beginner to actually land a job in tech? And you literally wrote the book on this, so I think you have a good opinion of this.
Yeah, I do. I have a book on it. I wrote a book on it. So, Hold
on, shameless plug. Hold on, I have the book.
Yeah.
Here we go. I have the book. And actually, the whole, I mean, if you want the whole thing, it's the whole thing. With a great drawing of Spider-Man on page, 98?
98.
Was it 98? Hold on. 90, not 95. Great picture. I'm not going to spoil it. You got to buy the book to get the Spider-Man picture.
The Spider-Man pic. It's not officially licensed by Marvel.
It is definitely not licensed by Marvel. If we ever get sued for that, I'll be like, you really think that looks like Spider-Man? Like,
I think I have 5 steps. I go through it. And so like in general, I think the primary thing is obviously you got to learn to code. The skill-based industry, you got to learn how to code. You've got to have the skills to get a job. You can't get a job without skills. So therefore, there is a period of time where you're going to have to learn to code. I go through the book of 3 ways you do it: bootcamp, self-paced, college. For the purposes of answering this question, it doesn't matter how you get there ultimately. Hey,
it's ultimately not something you
can, a great way,
kind of,
but not everyone's coming to Coder Foundry. I get that. So like, there's 3 ways. You got to learn to code 3 ways. That's the primary ways you do it.
So you're saying you ultimately can't kind of blag your way into this, right? You can't. If you can't do it and you just say you can do it, you're gonna get caught at the very next hurdle.
Right. The second thing is that we say is focus your learning. In other words, like don't try to learn 8 things at once. Learn one thing. Learn how to build a website. Learn how to build a mobile app. Learn how to build a desktop app. Those are the kind of 3 things that you need to do. You could also throw, I'm going to be cybersecurity. I'm going to be data science. Focus in on one of those 5 things. Does I think still to this day, there's more web dev jobs than there are cybersecurity jobs. So it's probably a little bit easier to break in. That's why we're so much advocates for the first time people learn how to build a website. But however you want to do it, that's what you need to do. We see so many people saying, hey, I'm learning 7 languages, and they don't know any languages at all. They're just, they're just chasing frameworks. They're chasing languages. They're learning Python because it's easy. And they're not using Python for data science. They're using Python for websites. We're like, you can build a website with Python, but that's not what you should be focused on. That's why the stack that you learn matters, because it's like, it matters what you learn, because what you learn applies to a specific job, and then go interview for that specific job. I don't care what stack you learn. We're going to teach you .NET if you come here. But if you learn React, I'm not stupid. I can tell you that there are React jobs out there. I'm not, I'm not like a religious zealot about .NET. I'm just saying that we had to pick one. We follow our own advice. We pick one way to do it. We train you that one way, and we interview for those jobs. Hence, you're successful. It's not rocket science. The ones that aren't successful are learning all kinds of stuff. They're all over the place. They're learning this and that, and they never put it together. That's one of my chief complaints with college, is like, it's this smorgasbord of technology that never turns into a project. It's like, well, you got to build the thing when you get a job. So that's my problem with college. It's not focused in enough for me.
I also think a lot of that comes from like the community kind of does it to itself too, because you'll see like on Twitter or something, it'll be like, man, I'm learning like this new language today. But what they don't tell you is like that they've been doing it for 5 years, and that is what they need to be doing. You do need to ultimately be learning forever. But you see the thing out there, and it's like, man, this guy knows like 85 things. Like, yeah, but he's been doing it for like 15 years. You don't have to, it's not 0 to 100. It takes a long time to get there. So you need to understand that there's a lot of, you do have to learn a lot. You'll be forever learning, but you don't have to learn all of that stuff up front to get the job. There is a minimum amount you have to learn.
Yeah, and then the third thing I'd see is, we say this, what we started open with, is you got to build a portfolio, man. Like, if you're going to go from, like Danny Thompson, frying chicken to something else, you need to be able to show them how to do it. Now, I can tell you this, not everyone in this world is made like Danny Thompson. Danny Thompson probably could sell ice in Alaska. I mean, like, he can really, he talks really well, and that's no slam on him. I'm just saying, like,
that's definitely
he could probably do that. He's definitely more skilled in the soft skill than most of us are. So that's why a lot of people aren't successful, is because they can't talk their way into the job. They can't explain what they know very well. And they feel like they also, another common mistake people make is they focus on their weaknesses and not their strength. And I hear people all the time saying, I don't know SQL, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know that. And I'm like, quit talking about what you don't know, tell them what you do know, because what you do know is enough to work there. But if you keep telling them that you don't know anything, they're instinctively not going to hire you. And that's not trying to hide my weaknesses or anything like that. What I'm saying is, always talk about your positives. So how do we do that? We build a portfolio of projects. We show the projects to the guy that's interviewing us, to the lady that's interviewing us. We talk about the projects at a deep technical level. We get a job. Until you do that, it's really hard to do it unless you're innately skilled specifically at soft skills, which is just a natural thing that some people have and some people don't. Now, can you learn it? Yeah, but it's really hard to do. So like we see it every day that we have Code Foundry students coming in, and without the portfolio, they're never landing a job because they just don't perform well in a technical interview situation. Right. It's not because they're dumb, it's just that they don't have that natural, I call it the gift of gab, the soft skills, whatever you want to call it. But they immediately, when they answer, you ask them a question, they talk in examples. They do that instinctively and they do it really well. And those people always get hired. The other person is trying to memorize a bunch of facts about .NET, and then their facts get confused and they don't come across as knowledgeable. So I think that's the key. So
Austin, thank you.
Keep up the good work. Love the new work. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, we got new.
We're still gonna do some more stuff to it. We still like it, but
yep. Still some extra stuff. Still
anyway,
working on it.
Let's go to the next question. So that's what we do, the 5 steps, and then the final one is on
shameless
chapter
plug
8
of the book.
Yeah, chapter 8 is take the first offer. I mean, I was talking to the current cohort, if you're watching. We had an opportunities coming down the pipe, and you were like, hey, take that first offer. And they were like, what if this, what if that? I'm like, just take it. And then this won't be your first job. It won't be your last job. Get paid, go there, get experience, and getting 1 year of experience is way more important than working for the only company you'll consider, or the only location you'll consider, or limiting all of your job search to one small town is a mistake. I think you need to take the first offer you can get, then once you have a year of experience, man, it's just so much easier to find the next role, and you have so many more choices. So take the first offer.
Yeah, we've literally seen people, haven't we, develop the skills, have the portfolio, have all the work, and then limit themselves on the job front, and then never ever break in.
Never
ever, because once it goes past like a year after like the boot camp, and you haven't kept up on your skills or gone into the industry yet, it's like you're starting over. It's like you just
and so like and I'm not trying to restrict anybody's money. I'm not trying to get in anyone's pocket with this, but like when you put out an unrealistic demand for salary because you're looking at a 5-year guy and you're coming out of the boot camp, and you're thinking that's what I want. We're saying, well, you're going to get that, but just not this year. It's 2 to 3 years or 4 years down the road. We're talking about building a career, not getting you an instant payday. That's not what this is. It's a career to give you the opportunity to earn that kind of money. But initially, it's not going to be $200,000 out of a boot camp. It's just not. I mean, like, except for the very rare occasion where there's a mixture of skills that you already had, soft skills that you already have, maybe expertise in industry, and you're just adding coding on top of that, then maybe, but most of us are just trying to transition from job type A to coding. And so we have to start at the bottom, and you just take it, just get the experience. It's more important than the money. It's more important than the location. It's more important than anything that you could do. You just need the experience.
Because to get from the top, from the bottom to the top is a much shorter window than it's ever been. And the top's just going up and up and up and up all the time.
And up and up and up and up.
Like we said, the double 6 figures is now kind of the new norm for the even in like North Carolina. So we know places like New York or whatever are like even higher than that. Like it's and West Coast.
I think eventually, with the sports agency analogy, you are going to have recruiters competing for your business, especially if you're operating at the high end.
Yeah,
they just will.
They're making a lot of money on a place.
Yeah. And so, not will you be wined and dined by, Jerry Maguire? I don't know if it'll ever get that route, but
maybe. Well, don't forget,
if you're making $900,000,
that's a $90,000 placement.
Yeah,
I mean, if you make 10%,
$1,000. Well, it's 20%. So it's.
I was going to say, if you're making 10% on the low end, it's $90,000. And that's and they make 10 or 20. So we're talking about $90,000 or $180,000. Yeah, you're going to get wined and dined.
This guy can sell 3 or 4 people per year and make a living placing CTOs. And so, I think that's where it's going. And these people are putting these companies together because they realize it, they know it, and the companies know it. And the companies know if you can truly get a rock star that can move the needle in your company, build something, explain something, or whatever it is, and you're working in the FANG industry. That's a big deal. If you have a CTO that can convince someone to use your thing that competes with Shopify and win customers over Shopify, what do you think that's worth? That's a lot. I mean, it's more than 900,000. I can tell you that. I mean, so there's a lot that goes on in these industries that people don't understand. And learning to code is that entryway, that gateway into this arena. It is the industry to be in because it's just becoming more and more connected and more to it. Now, if you can't get in as a coder, there's still lots of opportunities in sales and business development, tech support. There's just a lot that goes in and around this. You don't have just to code, but learning to code is actually the easiest way to break in. It may take a year to get there, but it's the easiest way to break in.
There we go. Boston says, should I learn Docker?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's not the most necessary thing to do. It depends on what you know already. But if you want to be in DevOps and you want to know how to push things around,
it's not a bad skill, is it?
No,
it's just it's not. But it's not in your top 5 skills. You wouldn't replace learning JavaScript with Docker.
If I'm going to build websites, no, not at all. So.
Okay. Mila says, how can I learn React? It's really hard to learn. I've tried multiple times, but I have no project idea. What to build with React to test if I handle it?
Okay. To-do list. Can you add a list and make a list and save it to a database? Pretty simple. That's how you start. I'm sure there's a ton of React courses on Udemy that you can take. That show you how to, and I would say this, when you learn to React, start simple, but you need to make sure that you're using a database on the back end, because that's really what the job is. Like, can I use React to build a fully functional web application as a database, authorization, all those kind of things. But you can start really super simple. To-do list. Can I save a to-do list to a database? You know, and then maybe go to auth so that you could have a to-do list by individual logins. And then you're getting somewhere. And then you can branch the app out. Once you know those mechanics, you can branch the app out to be an address book or something else, reservations for a restaurant, you know, those kind of things.
Is a just a clarification point from Steven here. It just says, I'm a new dev. My portfolio has been pulled up on a screen share during interviews more times than I can remember. Yeah, you need one.
You need one.
There you go. You did the right thing, Steven. Definitely.
Yep.
Weird question, another one from Boston here. But do you think Microsoft will stop supporting TypeScript?
I don't think so. Why? I don't know why you would think they would, but like I haven't seen any articles that they don't like it, or no, I don't think so.
I think it's here for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rathor says, sir, I don't have any computer science degree. Then I started to learn web development, but I'm confused about whether any of the companies will hire me or not.
So in the US, we can talk really distinctly about the US. Computer science degrees aren't required to work here in the US to be a web dev. You got proof of work. Now, there are some companies that will only hire computer science graduates only. We've seen that. I have to be, transparent, but I think they're more in the minority than anything. In fact, what we've seen in the last 10 months is people saying bootcamp grads accepted. They're like saying, if you're a bootcamp grad, please apply. This is what we're looking for, because I think that Coder Foundry and the reputable bootcamps across the country have really pushed the needle on like what you can learn in 12 weeks or 18 weeks or whatever, and the types of skills that we are teaching are relevant in the marketplace. So like, you don't need necessarily to have a computer science degree. Even if you get a computer science degree, I would still say you need proof of work. You have to build a portfolio. And we had a lot of computer science people get their 4-year degree, come to the boot camp in order to build the portfolio and learn how to put the app together. And how do I connect all of these dots, the database, the web part, how do I do all that? And that's what here at Coder Foundry, we think we excel at, and the other boot camps as well. So, but I think you can, they'll hire you if you have a portfolio of projects and you show what you can do. Hope that helps.
Before I do the next one, if you wouldn't mind giving us a like, that would help us. It's free.
Give us some likes, man.
Give us a like. That'd be great.
Yeah. Give us the thumbs up.
I always forget to remind.
Little sub action.
You can sub too if you don't sub. Yeah. We're here every Tuesday, Thursday. We do these. So if we don't get to your question today, I have a list, so I'm trying to. If we don't get to them today,
if you need it, if you have a burning question, just hit us on the super chat, and that'll.
Yep.
It'll get
Plus,
on the
your name
screen,
will appear up here in line too.
Up there, yeah, man. Get on that leaderboard.
Let's see. This is a very technical question. You're up for a C# technical question. Maybe. Oh, it might be a Linux.
I don't know everything.
Actually. This might be a Linux question, so maybe not. We're not Linux people here generally, but there's any way to use memory map files in C# on Linux, non-persistent memory map files. Also, can I use it with REST API to share data with processes running locally on my server?
I would have to research that to see kind of what he's trying to do. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen anything you can't do, but I'm not sure what the use case is. That would be more of a use case instead of just the words and what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Actually, this is he followed up here. It says oh no, we've done that one.
Okay.
We did have a follow-up in here. Cool. Here we go. Yeah. He also said he switched his LinkedIn to not looking for work. That limited recruiters. Yeah, it will. Turn that back on.
It will.
Turn that back on.
If you're looking.
Yeah. That's definitely worth doing, because they do look for that too, by the way. The recruiters, they will definitely, that is something that will push you up in their list. So definitely do that.
Yep.
That one. Something interesting. So just wanted to ask, how to know what is missing in your portfolio. Because I've been applying for a while and I get rejected. I'm applying for internship and entry-level jobs, but I get rejected. So this is somebody who's getting a soft no.
Yeah, you're getting the soft no, so it's not working for you, and which is a good question. Is what am I doing wrong?
Yeah,
I think that's a great question. A lot of us
exactly.
get offended and say no one hires juniors, and we rant, and we're like, I think people are getting hired. So what am I doing wrong? So we have in the portfolio course, we talk about the 6 sections that you need. And so one of them is a skills section, which just says, here's what I do. And these are the skills that I have. And that's where you name check React or whatever it is you're doing. The second thing is we have a project section, which is like complete working pieces of software. In our case, we're talking about web dev. So this thing has authentication, database solves the business problems, our primary criteria. A bug tracker checks all those boxes. That's why we talk about it a lot. And then we have this a thing called challenges, which is a front end only section, or smaller projects, really smaller in scale. This is your coding challenge like reverse a string, Fizz Buzz. We do a loan calculator. We have something that's super famous called Superdog Events. If you want to go look at superdogevents.coderfoundry.com, you can go look at what a coding challenge looks like when we teach in the course and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of these types of projects where we put a UI on a problem and you can still kind of mess with it and you still kind of play with it. This is where your to-do list would be, those kind of things. But if you have all of those projects and they're published, you can click on them, they're linked, and you can go look at it and play with it. I think that's real important. So yeah,
this is
sample. So yeah, so look, what we do here is we have a homepage for the project. We also brand the project. And so this is something that a lot of people can do on their own. And then you hit the try it out button, and look, it's a little app here that does stuff. And then you can click on this and it filters and has a modal you can add stuff to, so it's all front end. There's nothing really that's mind blowing here, but this is just what we call a smaller scale project. And then we go up, we step it up. And we have the project thing that has the bug tracker, maybe a financial budgeting app, maybe a blog, those kind of things. We show the code. So you can look at this if you want and go check it out. So it's kind of cool. We'll teach you how to build it in the self-paced course or in the our large virtual bootcamp. So we have 6 of those in a Co-Foundry Grads portfolio, 6 of these projects like Superdog Events. Then we have 3 major projects, and we put all of that together. And then we recommend that you blog. You write articles about technical things, and then you push your latest blog articles on your portfolio. You can push that to Tev, you can push to DevTO, you push to the Medium. And then you put all that together, you have the social proof, the proof of work, the POW, and you're ready to roll.
Here's another good tip from Stephen here. You should show your portfolio to people, get critiques, friends, family, and if you can, people in the industry, and then make improvements based on those critiques.
Absolutely.
I would say yes and no.
Watch with mistakes.
Be careful with friends and family.
Yeah, mom.
They're likely to be biased. Baby. Yeah, it's awesome. They don't really Now, your honest friends who are going to be Clara taught me this a while ago. I don't know if she's still here, but taught me this a while ago. The difference between nice and kind. Your friends and family will generally be nice. They'll just tell you that it's great and it's all, it's perfect. Like, I love it. But your critical friends or your real friends will be kind. And if it sucks, you need somebody to tell you that it sucks. So
it's kind of sus.
You're looking for people who are kind, not nice. Exactly. You're looking for people who are kind and not nice. So make sure that you getting the right feedback from the right people.
Yeah, and just make an improvement based on those critiques is absolutely. Look for spelling mistakes. Those can be a killer right off the bat. Make sure that if you have an app on it actually works. You're not getting erroring out. So the worst thing you can do is show a bug tracker on your app and say, hey, click on this link to view my bug tracker. And then, 500 server error comes up right off the bat and it's not working. And there's nothing you can do to recover from that. That's going to give you a soft no. And just make sure it's laid out professionally and neat and attractive. And Stephen, the big thing is check it on your phone and on the desktop. Make sure that it works on both of those. And if it looks like garbage on the mobile phone,
that's bad.
That's kind of how they're looking at it probably. Right, 80% of the traffic is going to come off on mobile phone.
Yep.
So just think about that. All right. Hope that helps, Stephen.
Hoy wants to know if CoderFoundry is just the 2 of us. It's kind of like
we're the marketing department. So so we're on the YouTube channel. So we have instructors and coders. Yeah. So
we're just the face, I guess, the unwitting face of CoderFoundry. see. My daily life, he says, I'm 30 and 4 years into Python coding. I want to try other languages, but I'm just average. Too scared to put my hands on new language. I don't know how to do this.
Oh, well, if you're doing Python coding and you're 4 years into it, learn another language. Just try it. It's daunting at first, and just see if you can take a tutorial on
I think that's the thing,
JavaScript or whatever it is, and then just go through it, and then you'll start seeing, okay, that's kind of like what I'm doing over here. I think I get it. And I think after you've been doing it for several years, branch out and learn other things, get you more opportunities, for sure.
Yeah, and you're going to find ultimately it's going to be easier than you think when you take a tutorial, because you're going to be like, oh, I know that, I know that, I know that,
that's
I know
sort
that.
of similar, So that's how you make an if statement in JavaScript versus Python, stuff like that. Or that's how you do it, all right?
You're going to find it's just a bunch of the tools that you're learning that are different.
Yep.
You're going to know more than you realize. Okay, let's see. What's Troy say? Troy wants to know, what about if you use .NET, but not in all the time? I would say not all the time every day. Do you put the cumulative years on your resume or the time span you actually used it?
I think the time span, I don't think you need to get too literal on that. Like, no one expects you to use it, 40 hours a day, every day. Just say, I've been using .NET for around 5 or 6 years. It doesn't really matter if that was on and off or like 20% of my time. I think that's just too literal. People don't really care about that. They're not
going to care about what you can do with it, right? I mean, they're going to have the expectation.
I understand the honest broker there. I totally get that. And it's not that we're lying. We're just saying, I think it's a custom, like, hey, I've been using .NET since 2005. They're not asking you for how many work hours do you have in .NET?
Right.
So, they're not asking for that.
Right.
So just number of years, the time span is what you need.
Let's see. Oh, this is an interesting one. We get this quite a bit, but a clone project is overrated?
I think so. All right, so let me preface this.
Yes, and no.
Yeah. So number one, if you're applying for front-end only jobs, the clone project's pretty cool. Hey, I'm making this work. The problem is if you're applying for, I want to build web applications, and you have a clone project that's a restaurant that's non-functional clone, it's kind of bad. Like, in other words, it doesn't do anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere, it's a lot of lorem ipsum, it doesn't look right. So what we do to go around this is, in the bootcamp, we created something called Movie Pro. Okay, Movie Pro could be seen as a Netflix clone. It doesn't look nothing like Netflix, it doesn't play movies, but we decided to make a fully functional application that works. You can load movies, you can watch the trailer, you can read about the movie. So it's more like IMDb clone, but it's ours and it's functional and it works. So while you could clone IMDb and it's just the homepage and it doesn't do anything, ours actually works. And I think that moves the needle if you're looking at something to clone it. I would say clones are good, but if you're looking to build websites, you need to take that clone and make it functional.
Plus, I also think clones in general, like even if you clone, let's say that you just clone a non-functional front end, that could be a great learning experience. But you wouldn't. You also wouldn't put it on your portfolio. Like that's the difference too. There's two things here. You're not really asking, like, is building the clone project worth it? Yeah, just about in every case, because you're probably going to learn something. Would you put every one of those on your portfolio? No.
Make a real website that does something. Make a real restaurant that does something. A real reservation system. That kind of stuff. That's what I would do.
Yep. Here's a hot topic we're getting a lot of recently. Talal wants to know, is learning Solidity a good idea, especially after the rise of Web3 and Meta?
Not if you're that age, according to that picture. You're 5 years old now. I don't think it's a...
Oh, that's funny. Well,
no, I think it's a good idea if you want to get into it. If you want to get into blockchain development, I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to learn that. That's the thing to know. So, like, if that's what the job you're pursuing. But, like, if you're just learning it and you're really not going to get into it, and put it this way, if you know nothing and you have to start out building something, the first thing you learn isn't Solidity in 2022. That's not the first thing you need to learn, okay? Unless specifically you're saying, I want to do smart contract development and that's the job I'm pursuing and that's the only job I'm going to pursue, then yeah, you need to know Solidity plus HTML, CSS, and JavaScript because you're going to have to build a web front end to make this thing work anyway. So you need to learn Web 2 stuff first and then Solidity second, and then you can break into Web 3. I don't think Solidity has anything to do necessarily with meta. I think that's more gaming engines, things like Unity or something like that would be a better choice there. Yep. But just remember, Web 3.0 is not a replacement. It's just an add-on to Web 2.0.
It's not different than Web 2.
That's not the replacement. Now, Meta could be the replacement, and that's different. That's building games, and if we have a major screen shift, I mean, that could happen. You know, where it's not websites we're building, where we're building other types of things.
Yep.
So we'll see.
We have to wait for the Apple Glass for that to happen.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Exactly. This year. It's coming out this year, man.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Thoughts on no-code, low-code tools like Power Automate? You foresee less of a need for web developers or software engineers because of this?
Has it happened yet? I mean, it's not like these haven't been around forever. How long
these things
has
have been
Excel
around
been
forever.
out?
It's just right. Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
not like
Do we not need
Excel's been out
accountants
since
anymore?
the dawn of personal computers. I mean, like, you know, we still need accounting systems. Yeah.
We've always had no-code, low-code things. We have.
Always.
They've just been in different forms. We've always had them. Today's are getting a lot of things because they throw this AI word around within. It's like, oh, artificial intelligence along with this thing. And it's like, can it do the code? If you've played with any of these, you'll know the answer to this, and it's no.
No. It serves a purpose. It hits a certain thing, but then you introduce it to the business and they immediately want to do extra. And you're like, well, my low code doesn't do that, or my no code doesn't do that. Like, and so you end up writing a custom app. So, you know, is Airtable going to replace SQL Server as a database? No, not in a million years. Never, ever, 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 ever. Performance, all that kind of stuff. There's just lots of problems that it doesn't solve. But hey, you got a small footprint database that you need, and you want to track a few thousand records or 10,000 records or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty good. You want to track 1 billion records, you know? Okay, you need to look at a database. Always be need for web developers and software engineers. Guess who's going to be using the low code, no code options is the software engineers anyway. They're
right. No, you're right. They're still. Yeah. It's not. You're right. It's not like it's it's not pick up and play. It's not just like any old person can go and trust me, throw one of these no-code tools in front of somebody who's non-technical, and they're not going to have a clue. Not a clue. Yeah.
Take Airtable, for example. We use it.
Right.
You have to sit down and go, okay, so how do I want these things to relate? And you know, you just gotta
have to have a basic understanding. Yeah.
You just can't slap it all in one thing and hope it works. I mean, like that's never going to work out.
To get something like Airtable to work, you have to have a basic understanding of
relationships.
Of relationships, exactly, of databases. If you don't understand how a database works, and you throw everything in one table in Airtable, which you totally could do.
You could do.
It would just be bad. It would be terrible. Like, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. John wants to know, I'm currently looking for a job in React. Would you be willing to do a mock interview with me on the live stream? Probably not.
Unfortunately, John, that's not what we do. Like, I'm doing that so much with students, so like I'm kind of slammed on that one. So
yeah, we can't.
I'm in React. I'm not your React guy. I'm typically going to be more in and around things I would do in and around ASP.NET and .NET. That's really where I'm focusing on wheelhouse. So I think there's other people that would help you do that better than I could, actually. So anyway, I hope that doesn't hurt.
Jose here wants to know, had an interview the other day for a .NET position. That's awesome. However, they asked me about SQL Reporting Services. Is that something I should know?
Depends on if they're using it. Apparently, these people you interview with are using it. So yeah, it's something you should know. So what I tell people is write down every question you get and then figure out the ones you missed during the interview and then figure out what your shortcomings are. Do you have to know SQL Reporting Services to get every job? No, it's another tool that you can use. Now, what I would do is, hey man, spin one up and just see how easy it is to do. And then that way you can talk about it next time. Say, hey, I was messing with that the other day. You don't have to say you did it professionally. And if you actually could publish a website with it, it's kind of cool.
Right. Because they don't really care. They just want to know that you can do it.
Can you do it? Oh, that's what we got here.
The answer is yes.
This or do it? Or, yes, I can do it. Yeah. But, maybe you need some proof of work. You want to add to it. There's nothing wrong with knowing SQL Reporting Service. It's not going to hurt you to know it, for sure.
It's another SQL-based question. Kind of two in a row here. The Lee says, I got a new job that works with SQL. Is this a good step towards software engineering?
Yeah, I think everyone should know SQL.
It is. It's one of those things that, like,
The
so
more you know, the better. I mean, like, yeah.
I've seen a lot of banks that use SQL for reporting stuff, right? So if you're working in a certain bank and you use SQL for reporting stuff and you're querying a database and you run a bunch of SQL statements, yeah, it is. But just know that it's a tiny part of what you're going to learn in a bigger picture for a software engineer. It's one of those, like, it's like a little add-on part. There's much more important things you're going to have to learn. But sure, I mean, if you're good with the logic and you understand how that works, you're gonna be more comfortable with some of the other stuff too.
Yeah, I definitely think knowing SQL, 5 things is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, server-side language, and SQL. That's not 5 things that you should probably know as a web dev. You have to know the entire ins and outs of SQL. The cool thing about SQL is it's a very smaller language. It's a very limited thing you need to know. You need to understand what a select is, where clause, joins, those kind of things. Insert would be doing a lot. Delete versus truncate, those kind of things. So there's a lot to know there, but it's definitely something you should do. And now that you have a new job learning it, you're doing it every day, hey, they're paying you to learn. That's what I say all the time, man, that people will pay you to learn the next thing once you can break in. So good job there, Lee. Lee.
Here's an interesting question. It's Batuan, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, I do apologize. But you're always saying learn web dev and break in. And I want to do AI game programming.
Exactly.
Supply to me too.
I think you're listening. What I'm saying is there's more web dev jobs than AI game programming jobs. But if you want to break into AI game programming, then do AI game programming. Don't learn Python. You're wasting your time doing that because that doesn't apply to there. So if you want to build AIs and for game programming, I think you need to learn the game engines and how that works and whatever the stacks are. Maybe it is Python, I don't know, but you need to figure out how all of that works and use the stacks that are relevant to that job. Build proof of work, stick it on your resume and say, hey, I built a Unity game that's using my new AI model for, I don't know, pathfinding or whatever it is, or enemy creation. So it does apply to you. The same rules apply, it's just you're going to use a different stack to get there. That's all it means.
Okay, I have 2 bug tracker related questions. These just came in. I'm just going to do these because out of order a little bit. But you had once told that the bug tracker is the one project that should be done. Is there any other project that would be preferred to do?
I think we build a bug tracker still to this day because it moves the needle in interviews. Everyone has one. And then the interviewer automatically knows what it's supposed to do, and they can look at it and tell if it's good or bad or not. The second one is you can build a blog platform, okay, and write your own blog. Serves the dual purpose, shows you that you can build stuff. Second, gives you a way to tweet out your expertise with your blog platform. So that's the other one. The other one would be solve a business problem. You could do that with something like Movie Pro is kind of cool, a financial portal that does a budgeting app. Those are all kind of work. Budgeting is kind of cool because everyone has a household budget and they know how that should work too. They've looked at different banking apps. So hope that helps.
And that actually answers this question too, by the way, but I'll put it up here anyway. It also took 5 months to build a bug tracker, which, yes, it can take a minute.
Yeah.
What are some quick projects I can do? So, yeah, you've talked about those already. It's kind of funny because we've talked about it's coming into this year. We know the bug tracker video is from 2019 now. It is coming into its 2nd year of existence. But it's kind of funny because we looked at it and we were thinking, like, do we need to update this? We look back and we're like, well, no, it all still stands. Like, we just need to be more.
Works.
So what we might
someone asked me, does it still apply in 2021? I'm like, yeah. I mean, like,
it does, yeah. So what we're probably going to do is we're probably just going to remake the exact same video for 2022 because people are like, oh, it's an old video now. Maybe it doesn't apply anymore. It totally does. There's a couple of extra things that we would actually add onto it, but everything that's in there 100% still applies today. The points that are in there are exactly the same as they were in 2019. Nothing's changed in terms of that. So we may end up putting out another video that's similar to that one that just like reiterates it because, you know how people are. They're just like, it's an old video now. It doesn't apply. It does. And we can't update the video, unfortunately. So we can't. New one.
So make a new one.
So maybe we'll have a new one here at some point in 2022.
So trying to make a loan calculator, simple interest loan calculator, be another simple project you can do over a weekend. So look at that.
There you go. Kind of a technical question. I don't just you can talk about this generalized. But Umaima, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not, and I apologize. Says, hello, I have a question about SQL Server. What's the most effective way to secure a SQL Server?
Change the default port it listens one. It'd be one. Make sure that the SA password, actually just remove SA and remove that altogether and create a different password combination for it. Make application-specific passwords instead of just a general SA that's used for every app. That's only if you have multiple databases. The second thing is, if you're hosting SQL Server yourself, make sure it's in what we call a DMZ, which means that it's not accessible directly from the outside. Only thing that access it is the application that's running against it. So that's off the top
I'm guessing
of my
if
head.
you can get access to it, right?
Yeah,
You can
I'm sure I missed something. Someone like, yeah, turn off name pipes. Yes, turn off name pipes. So
but if you can get direct access to it, I'm correct in saying you can. That's how you can use like SQL injection, right? You can query the server directly.
Privilege you can query it directly and do privilege escalation if you figure out what the SA password is. So like SA means system administrator, and then if you get SA access, then you can delete tables, make new tables. You can do whatever you want. It's bad. So.
Yep. Let's see. I know you have an opinion on this. Bilgan says, is it worth working unpaid intern?
In the U.S., no. Where do you live? I'm assuming by your name that you may live somewhere else. And I don't, but if you're in the U.S., heck no, man. Like, you should never code for free unless you're doing it for yourself or you're doing it for like your mom has a restaurant, don't charge your mom, there's situations where that's not true, but you're just going to random company A and they're like, hey, come and fix my website for the experience. No, I don't think it's worth it. I would say that it's even if you're somewhere else and that's like a common practice, I think there should be minimum wage laws here in the US. So I really find it funny that they feel like a highly skilled trained person should work for free for experience when, you can't go to McDonald's and you have to work for free for experience. You have to be paid. And I think you should be paid to do that. Second is think about what you could be doing. So if the company will give you truly experience and it truly will move the needle for you in your career, okay, maybe there's a case where that's true, but could you also just build stuff on your own while you're looking and have the same kind of outcome, except now you're working for you instead of, company A? I think it's really bad form for a company to take something like a coder and then use that skill that they've spent a lot of time and effort learning on and then expect you to do it for free. I don't think you should have to do that. Now, if that's the only thing you can get and you think it's going to move the needle, do it. But like if you look hard enough, I feel like you can get paid to do it. Do something, man, Go to Fiverr, something.
It's funny. Yeah. I put a tweet out about Fiverr, I think like yesterday or the day before. I got an ad on Twitter and it was like, hire a tax consultant on Fiverr. And I was like,
yeah, I might do that.
I was like, that ain't happening. Like, I might get a logo designed on Fiverr, but I'm not hiring a tax consultant on Fiverr. Sure, I'll hand over all my financial information to a random person on the internet on Fiverr. You're like, yeah, that's gonna happen.
In Romania.
Right. I'm like, what's really? Like, come on. Yeah. I'm like, that's not gonna happen, is it? That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, let's do one more. So Motto says, interviews I've had went well until the point they review my experience, because I have none. How do I get around that?
Projects, build projects.
Yeah, because they're not hiring you, don't forget, based on your experience. They're hiring on you, can you do the job that we're asking you to do? You have to prove you can do it, and that's either through experience or showing them work.
Yeah, and you build your own experience by building your own projects. So like, and don't listen to the people that say, hey, if it doesn't have user base, don't put it on your portfolio. That's just complete and utter nonsense and
that's
garbage.
Silly.
Like people, it's so silly. Like in other words, like if you could get 1,000 users on your bug tracker, well, you ain't interviewing for a job. You're probably like, hey, I'm gonna go with this.
Exactly, make a service out of it. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so like you're building it for experience, and then it's proof of work. And you're like, hey, you haven't worked as a software dev. I know, but I've been doing this, and look at this thing that I built, and I think it lines up with what you're doing, especially if the stacks align. So you're like, hey, I built this in .NET. You're looking for a .NET. Hey, let's make a deal here. I can show you what I can build, and look at that. Check it out. I think that's how you overcome that. Hope that helps. Good luck in your search.
There you go. A couple admin things before we cut out. You can always obviously subscribe to our course, learn.codefoundry.com at the top here. Or is that
shameless plug?
So, this way, up here.
Can't do it.
Also,
I'm reversed.
Also,
on this
there you go.
Yeah,
also, shameless plug right here. It's difficult, isn't it, when it's reversed? I'm like, is it this way? This way? I don't know.
Because it's reversed in the monitor here. So
it is. It is. We're adding new content here soon too. To that, we have a new portfolio thing coming up that Bobby's working on. We have some other stuff that we're working on there. Lots more new content. I'm going to be sending out a notice to the initial subscribers here soon about the renewals as well. We have something about that too that I need to figure out. For those that initially subscribed when we did the pre-sale, so I need to figure that out and send you guys a message about that. That's coming out soon too. What else? Oh, we talked about this today, so you can go on Amazon.
Copy, man.
And do breaking the
Amazon
code.
or wherever books are sold, pretty much any
breaking the code.
retailer.
5 steps to a life-changing software development job.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
Maybe next time we'll give away a signed copy. We are. Maybe we'll give away a signed copy next time. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe come back Tuesday and we'll do that.
Yeah.
If we didn't get to your question today, also, we do these every Tuesday, Thursday at noon. Come on back. The earlier you get here to ask your question, the more likely it is we'll get to them. We get to as many as we can. And obviously, if it comes to the end and you still want us to answer the question, super chat it and we'll do it then. And otherwise, we'll just go through them in the best order that we can. Thanks for hanging out.
Okay.
Buddy.
Cool. Thank you.
Fun as always.
Good luck. Keep coding, guys. See you Tuesday.